Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you one of the best ways to make gold in Mists of Pandaria Classic. And this way doesn't involve you spending 10 hours per day farming the same mob over and over again. With this method, you can spend less than 1 hour each day and you can make tens of thousands of gold from doing so. And the best part is, you do not even have to leave the auction house to be able to do this method. And yes, we are talking about flipping. So flipping is where you buy an item for cheap and you resell it for a much higher price and you keep the profit in between. So that's basically flipping. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do this, what you're going to need, and how it actually works. So first of all, the most important thing that you're going to need is TSM, which is Trade Skill Master. So Trade Skill Master, or TSM, is basically an add-on that will give you price data for the items, and it can do a bunch of other things. The most important things for flipping is going to be that it's going to give us some price data so we know what items are actually worth. And on top of that, you can make groups and operations. So groups is basically just groups of specific items you put in a group that you want to flip. And then you also have operations, and this is basically a TSM operation which will determine how much you actually post the item for. Now, how I have my TSM operations and groups set up is that, well, first of all, I have all of the groups of all the items that I recommend flipping. As you can see, a bunch of different groups here with all of the items that I recommend flipping. But for the operations, I've set this up in a really good way where it will only actually post items at a profitable price no matter what, which is perfect for flipping. So when you buy an item, TSM will keep track of how much you paid for the item and will give you an average price that you've paid for that one specific item. What my operation will do is it won't allow you to post it for less than what you actually paid for it. No matter what, every single time you post an item, it will be posted at a 10% profit margin or more. It'll also take into consideration the 5% auction house cut when an item is actually sold. Now, if you want to get my groups and my operations, they're inside of my Mists of Pandaria Classic Flipping Guide, which I'll put a link for that down below in the description box. This will have all of my groups that you can simply click import. You can paste the import string right here, and you'll have all of my groups, and you'll have the operations that go with my group. So all you have to do is import it, and you're ready to start flipping exactly how I am. On top of the TSM stuff, inside of the guide, I actually teach you step by step how to do the full process of flipping in Mists of Pandaria Classic. Now, with flipping a mob, I like to have two different categories basically. I like to have my materials as one category and then everything else as a different category. And what I mean by that is that materials have actually changed how they're being sold on the auction house at the end of Kata. So we've actually got the retail auction house for materials. Let's go ahead and find a material where there's a lot of quantity. So as you can see, we've clicked on this item right here, and it's a completely different window to how it would have been back at the start of Cataclysm. Now that we're in mob, it's actually been upgraded to the retail version. So how this works is that, for an example, if you just come in and you want to buy the one that's at 250 gold here, you can't just buy it. You have to buy the cheaper ones first. So the cheapest items always sell first with the materials, no matter what. So it's kind of changed how we actually flip materials, and we'll go over that right now. So let's go ahead, let's select old expansions, because we are still in the pre-patch right now for mob. So let's go ahead and select all old expansion materials, and let's run a shopping scan. Ooh, the scan just started. We have a crazy deal right here on a silk cloth for only 20 copper, when really they're worth 1 gold and 68 silver. Let's just buy that quickly before it disappears. I'll keep running the scan and I'll show you some examples of how to actually flip materials. Alright, so the scan is done. Now my TSM search might look a little bit different to yours. As you can see, I have a bunch of extra columns with a bunch of extra data. So how to actually do this for yourself, if you click on these three dots right here, and then there's show/hide columns, we actually want to add one back in. So you can go to here and you can add all of the different price sources that you want to see. and we want to actually add just the market, because we do want to have that. Let's put this here and make this a little bit bigger. So now we have the buyout price, which is this one right here. We have the percent. So this percent is based off the market value. So at 100%, it would be exactly at the market value price. Anything under 100% is under the actual market price, and anything over is obviously over. Now, all the market value means is the average price the item has been posted for on your specific realm over the past 14 days. We also have the DB region market average price, which is the same thing but for all of the realms on your region. We have the DB region historical price, which is basically the market value, the region market value, but it's for 60 days instead of 14 days. And we also have the region sale average. This is how much on average the item is sold for across all the realms on your region. And we also have this column right here, and this is your sell rate. So the higher this number is, the quicker the item sells. And this is, it basically just gives you an average of how many are sold per day on all the different realms on your region. So you can go ahead and set this up, because when buying an item, instead of having to hover over the item like this, you can actually see all of the important data right here. So we don't even have to hover over the actual item to look at the tooltip, because all that information you see on the tooltip is now in our TSM search in these columns right here. So what we can do is we can go ahead, we can see, well, we can buy this for 5 copper. The market value is 49 silver. And well, 5 copper is cheaper than all of the different price sources, and it's got a good sell rate. So this definitely could be a good deal. So if we go ahead, click on it, click on buy, we can see there's one for 5 copper. The next one's 28 silver. We're gonna buy the one at 5 copper. And as you can see, there's a lot of profit to be made from those sort of flips. But how it is different than before is we're basically buying items still that are under 50% of the market value, so this percent. However, we want to make sure the buy price is cheaper than the market value price, the region market average, the region historical, and the region sale average price. So this one, we can see the market value for this is 1 gold and 51 silver. But if we look at the region sale average, it's only 2 silver and 65 copper. So this would just meet the criteria because it is under that. It has a really good sell rate, so we can look at this item for an example. Now we want to find a big jump, so we can see that it's like 2 silver, 3 silver, 3 silver, 3 silver, 3 silver. Then the next big jump is all the way up to 15 silver. So right here would be the jump point. Alright, so let's go ahead, and you can see the big jump is at 15 silver from 3 to 15. So if we click on the 3, we can buy it all the way out until the 15 one. So we're going to be paying, here's our average price right here, so 2 silver and 86 copper. And then we're going to be reposting at 15 silver and 99 copper. So let's go ahead and buy these out. And let's head over to the mailbox. There's one right here, perfect. Let's go ahead and grab this dead stone and the few other things that we brought, and let's post these up on the auction house. Now we did buy a decent amount of these, but these items sell extremely quickly, so we should be able to sell them off very, very fast. So let's go ahead and post these, and now TSM will do all of the hard work for us. We just want to go to auctioning, select all of the groups, and then it will scan the best possible price. As you can see, we paid 2 silver for the dense stone, and we're reposting it at 15 silver. We paid 20 copper for the silk cloth, and we're reposting this at 1 gold and 68 silver. We paid 5 copper for the light leather, and we're reposting it for 28 silver. So you can see where the profits start to actually come in when doing this. Now your goal, if you really want to make a lot of gold with this, is that you basically want to do what I've done with these 3 items, but you want to do this with a lot of items. So you just keep running scans, finding good deals, and posting them. Now, what you actually also want to be doing, once you have a bunch of items posted, you want to go to auctioning, you want to select all the groups, and you want to run cancel scans. Basically, this will scan the auction house, and if you've been undercut, you'll be able to cancel it. So as you can see, we've been undercut on the silk cloth, so we can cancel it. Now, I'll give you a bit more of an example. let's run another shopping scan on the materials. Let's actually go ahead and do a bit of flipping myself. I'll buy a few of these and then I'll show you them selling off, and then they actually do sell very quickly. But as you can see, we just brought the silk cloth and already sold it. We paid 20 copper and we resold it for 1 gold and 68 silver. Alright, so let's let this scan finish again, and I'll go through and I'll buy a bunch of different items that meet the criteria that I've spoken about, and we'll get them up selling on the auction house. Here is another great example of an item to actually flip. As you can see, we can pick it up on the average price of 1 gold and 15 silver, and then we can repost them at 4 gold a pop. That's a great flip right there. Let's go ahead and buy those. Let's see what else we can find. We want items that are used quite a lot, that have a good sell rate. Of course, stone does, but there's probably a lot of these. We could probably buy these out though. So they're all 1 silver, 2 silver, 3 silver, 5 silver. Technically, we could buy all the way up to the 5 silver and then repost at 15 silver. So we're paying an average of 1 silver and 53 copper. Let's go ahead and buy those. Alright, let's go ahead and post these. So let's run a post scan. As you can see, we paid 2 silver on average for the dense stone, reposted 15 silver. Coarse stone, we paid on average 1 silver, reposting it for 14 silver. The moon shroud, we paid 1 gold on average, reposting it for 4 gold. So you basically get the picture. And that's how material flipping works. You just want to add more and more materials. But there's obviously a bunch of different markets. So we've got the battle pets. This is a great new market that has came with Mr. Pandaria Classic. We have the current content. If we want to go ahead and flip like leveling gear for mob, this will be good at the launch. Level 90 gear. We have companions. We've got all the different mounts. We've got the recipes. Recipes is another market I really like to flip in. We have all the toys. We have transmogs. So I've got a group here with like the top 100 transmog pieces, and then you've got your separate groups if you want to sort them by, like, if you want to get all the epics, you go like this, select all the epics, and this will just show you epics. Or if you want a certain piece, like if you want to focus on, let's say, shoulders, because shoulders are like very important for transmog, you could do those. Let's actually go ahead and do a scan on the battle pets, and I'll show you how it works when you're flipping items like this. They're a little bit different to materials. The good thing about flipping things that aren't materials is that you won't get undercut as quickly, so you don't have to do as many cancel scanning, and obviously the profit margins can be much higher. Like you could pay, say, 1,000 gold for an item and then resell it for 50, 100,000 gold. So you can have a lot bigger profit margin when you're doing things that aren't materials. But materials is a good place to start for beginners just because they sell so quick and you don't need too much capital to actually start flipping materials. So just like the other things, we want to make sure that the buy price that we're paying for it is cheaper than the market value, the region market value average, the region historical, and the region sale average. So this item right here is a great example. You can see we can pick it up for 64 gold. The market value is 272 gold. The region market value, which item was it? This one right here is 1,739. The historical is 1,000, and the region sale average is 261. So spending 64 gold for that item is definitely a good deal. However, if we look at the item, we can see that there is a bunch posted at 64, and there's no real big jump up in price. So we will stay away from that item. But let's go ahead and have a look, see if we can find another one right here. This meets all the criterias. Is there a bunch posted? There is. So we don't want to be buying like, 10, 20 of the same item. Just because that's way too much inventory of the same item when you're doing non-material stuff. You kind of only want to buy max a few, max like 5, to see the price jump up. But if we look through these still, we can go ahead and we can find a deal that is worth buying right now. Right, the scan's complete. Perfect. So let's go and keep looking through these and see if we can find a good deal. So here's a great example right here. We have the giant bone spider. we can see there's one posted at 1000 gold and the next highest is 1899 gold. So we could buy it for 1000, then repost it for 900 gold more. So we just went ahead, we brought that. Alright, so we just brought that battle pet for 1000 gold. If we repost it, we're going to undercut the competition for 1899 gold. So that's basically how flipping works in Mr. Pandaria Classic. Obviously there's a bunch of tips and tricks that you do want to know, and you can find all of the methods inside of my Mr. Pandaria flipping guide, which will be linked down below in the description box. With that, you obviously get my TSM groups and operations that you can import very easily, and also an in-depth guide that will teach you everything you need to know about flipping in Mist of Pandaria Classic to make hundreds of thousands of gold without even leaving the auction house. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel.